Friends, family, fans, what's cracker lacking? It's another episode of Back Nine Bets, episode 126. Scottie doesn't know how to chip anymore. Does he or does he not? It's been a tough time for the world number one. We'll get into all of that here shortly. As always, this show is brought to you by Bet105. Go check them out. They're available in all 50 states. Link in the description below. Go ahead and click that. Support the show. Support them. They got the best matchups in the business, which we'll be going over here shortly. No tee times so far. PGA Tour is probably holding their cards close to their chest with the weather showing up. We like the weather because we want to bag a few guys going off early on Thursday. It looks like the weather gets nasty Thursday afternoon. So we don't really know. And it's been a bit of a slog. Not going to lie. Hasn't been the best start to the year. And we want to make sure that we play the weather right. We don't want to be doing what we did last year, where last time they played at Torrey, we had Shane Lowry, we had Tony Finau, all for top 20 bets on the other side of the golf course. They got whacked. So hopefully that can't happen this time because they're playing the same exact course all 4 days. But it is what it is. It's been rough. Board looking crispy today. Hell, beard. Yeah, the beard is looking nice. It is coming in hot and fast like a dad beard for sure, and is looking good for good. We've got sites saying 2 after where I know. 6:02. That's when we start, baby. You know the drill. And time to make some cash, and Darbo in the house saying yo, yo, yo. Alan, we will get into the 6 for 6s. I've got like a 99% guaranteed lock for you, pending WDs this week. No cut. Alan's trying to be funny. I appreciate you. Sweet stuff. All right. So before we get into it, well, man, you know what? Let's just get into it. Here's the model. Here's what's cooking. We've got the bet tracker over here. I will pull it up for you guys to show you what the hell we've been through. And it has been hell. Not going to lie to you. But we lost 9.5 units at the Waste Management. It was some of the most brutal stuff. Scottie Scheffler, top 5, no dice. Top 3, entering the back 9, you think you could win the damn thing. Finishes outside the top 26. We had Sungjae Im enter the round, T19. Finishes outside the top 40, I think. Shot like 4 over, one of the worst rounds of the day. We had Sam Burns over Tom Kim. Sam Burns just completely shit it down his leg on Saturday morning. Played the first couple holes like 3 over par. We had Kurt Kitayama go ahead and do his thing for a top 40. He played the first 3 holes of his Saturday round 4 over. We had Harry Hall in a 4-hole stretch play those holes 5 over par in a matchup and for a top 20 bet. So like, our guys played fine. They just had these random blow-up holes, and as a result, yeah, we are. So it was pretty brutal. We played Benny on in a round matchup on Saturday, and he shot the worst round of the day. It's just weird stuff that's happening. I'm not entirely sure how to go about it, but it is what it is, and off we freaking go. You know what I'm saying? So it's okay. And before I get into any other stuff, I want to preach that bankroll management is very, very important in this situation. Because if you don't have enough money to survive this kind of downturn in results, that I totally agree with Temming 26. It's bad luck. Potentially, you know, maybe we figure it out, maybe we don't. But I do feel there's been a lot of weird variance on ours. We had an Aldrich Porchetta ladder, top 20, top 10, top 5. He entered the tournament 3rd and finished barely inside the top 20. It's just been weird stuff that's been happening. It is what it is. And it's not bad luck entirely. There's a bit of bad luck involved here. I don't know, maybe I'm not reacting quick enough to the changes that golfers have made over the winter break. And as a result, we'll be diving through some of those metrics next, because there's been a period of time to work on your golf game the last little while. So it's important to know that. But before we finish the segment here, have to preach to you. If you do not have enough units in your bankroll to continue betting the same amount that you have been betting, even after losing 25 freaking units to start the year, your bankroll isn't being managed correctly. You need to have enough. I can still continue to throw my $30 at these bets every single week because that's within my bankroll. I know that I can lose 101 of those before really finding myself in a dangerous situation and considering life, contemplating things. but I think it has to be an important thing I'm getting home here. If we're going to learn something from this disaster, it's bankroll management and proportioning your units accordingly. There we go. So that's done. Randomness says, Rory or Aberg for one and done. We can get to that in a little bit. And the thumbnail, Scottie doesn't know. Great show, great song. Eurotrip was a great movie as well. And we can dive into some Scottie Scheffler stuff here shortly. We don't necessarily know if this guy's chipping the way he should be. I know Darbo's in the house, probably going to bitch and moan about some strokes gain metrics, but it is what it is. So let's go ahead. As you can see here, this is the tools that I use in the Patreon. Link in the description below. Use code FGD for Fantasy Golf Degenerates, and get yourself 20% off your first month over in the Patreon below. I appreciate you guys for doing that. I can't remember who the heck was the winner of last week. I need to do that as well. But I think I've even reached out to them already. So I will make sure I contact them. As always, if you are in the comments after the show, go ahead and let me know who's going to finish DFL, dead freaking last, this week at the Genesis Invitational out in Torrey Pines. And I will hook you up with a free month subscription to my Patreon, which is in the link to the description below. And all the stuff we're using here is available over there. So I put this form tracker together, a little quick and tidy assessment of the guys. I'm going to throw my face into the mix, make the screen a little touch bigger because we're only really dealing with the guys at the top. So yes, strokes gain for 2024. Yes, strokes gain. Great question. The Patreon turns, it may have even been today. I think it's the 11th or 12th of February where I can turn 3 months old in Patreon and then hook you guys up with a definite year-long sub at a discounted rate going forward. So it's within, I will launch that next week for the Mexico Open. Great week to do that. It'll be a fun time. And I'm hitting lights that are in different places I've never seen before. So the year-long stuff is on its way. So as we we're chatting about already, I made my copy so that all the Patreons don't have to deal with me leaving filters on. 2024 stats, 2025 stats, and how much they've changed in the 6 events that these guys have played. We'll start off with approach since it's filtered on this thing. So we've got Jason Day sitting up top here. Some important stuff. This is going to I've made one bet and it's an outright. And as a result, we're waiting on the weather. So I'll be rolling through some bets that I'll be looking at once we get to the placement tool a little bit later and some matchups. But we're waiting for the weather to figure out exactly what's going on. We don't want to get boned by the weather. And as a result, we're hanging tight. So in the meantime, we're going to do a little deep diving of some random stuff. Like I said, trying to figure out whose game is completely shifted for the good, potentially for the bad, since the break, the Christmas break. We've had 6 weeks worth of golf, probably 3 or so rounds for everybody involved if you played the Century, Pebble, and the Waste Management, or whatever combination. At least 2 tournaments, you get the freaking drill. So Jason Day leads the field in improvements in strokes gained approach by a full stroke. He's now gaining 3/4 of a stroke in 2025 and was losing basically 1/3 of a stroke in 2024. So it's only a few rounds because Jay Day's played the Genesis, he played the Farmers, he played Pebble, and he played the Century. So we've got 12 rounds of data for Jay Day, and he's really cooking with the irons right now relative to what he's been up to. And now the exciting thing about just Jason Day is the fact that the putter has gone, and I say exciting in an optimistic regression perspective, that the putter's dropped drastically to losing 0.6 strokes on the greens, which is 1.2 strokes less than his 2024 baseline of 0.6 gained. So it's like a full 1.2 strokes. And now putting is very volatile, but Jason Day has typically done very good things on these Torrey Pines greens. He's done great things on the Pebble greens. There's a good chance we bounce back this week with the putter. It's been atrocious. I don't know what's going on, but what we do know is if there was a place to bounce back, it's this week over here. So exactly, he lost 5.7 putting at the Farmers. If it happens again, it happens again. But I'm willing to bet that he doesn't lose that amount on these greens again. And I think with the ball striking that we're seeing from J-Day, the overall improvement, I mean, he's playing some solid golf this year. I'm happy to play him in DFS. I'm happy to play him potentially in a one-and-done situation. I think he's a wild card going into this week because of the poor putter, which is one of the easiest things to correct. Remember, we know that when your putter is wonky, it can bounce back almost instantly the next week. So that's my hot take on Jason Day. Tommy Fleetwood's only played one round. We're going to leave him alone. Jordan Spieth played 2 rounds, Pebble and the Waste Management. So that's 7 total rounds for 2 events. And the iron play has been sensational. Now, Pebble, not necessarily going to be that demanding on your wrist because you're hitting a lot of fairways there, and the Waste Management is a lot of sand and bunkers. Jordan Spieth plays well out of that stuff. Will his wrist survive the rough this week? And the rough is rough. It's thick. Go check out Ben Griffin's Twitter, X. He's dropping balls in a cabbage patch. Ball disappears. And Jordan's driving not necessarily the greatest thing in the world. You know what I'm saying? Like he's not driving at the best. It's kind of off the planet at the moment when things go wrong. So we're waiting on Jordan Spieth to get the driver figured out. We'll see. What's exciting is Colin Morikawa's situation. His irons have just been absolutely dialed this year. Absolutely. I mean, when you are gaining 1.2 strokes on approach, and then the next thing you see, you're gaining 0.8 strokes more the following year, sitting over here casually for Colin Morikawa, what on earth is going on? Why is that number the same and this number the difference? We're going to have to make sure that's correct. I'm looking at wrong numbers, strokes gained and strokes gained total versus the approach numbers. These are the ones we're looking at. That makes a lot more sense. So looking good for Colin, gaining a ton of irons right now. And I think if we fall to this by the best, he's number uno in the field for approach play. So that's good to see from Colin. Now, whether or not he can string it together for 4 rounds, I dived into some stuff for Colin Morikawa's metrics, and people, it's not ideal. If you take a look at Colin's round-by-round stuff, he gains 2.3 strokes, I believe, in round 1, 1.5-ish, 1.25 in rounds 2 and 3, and then he's neutral, or I think losing 0.1 strokes to the field in Sunday rounds, round 4s, when it matters. And then I dived into it even deeper. And his driver in round 4 is the best that it is all week. So once the ball leaves the driver and gets on the ground is when things go wrong. The irons are putrid and the putter completely just disappears. I think there's like a 1.5 stroke difference between his first and second rounds and his final round putting for strokes gained. Dropped all that stuff in the Discord. You're going to find it all over there for you guys. Link in the description as part of the Patreon package. Whether or not Colin can do it, I don't know. But there's a 22-1 first round leader with ties paid in full for Colin Morikawa. Something I'm interested in because his round 1 metrics are phenomenal. We're jumping around a little bit. It is what it is. So here's Colin Morikawa, and you can see exactly what I'm talking about. The Wi-Fi is pretty crappy right now. Hopefully it's all good. Hit me up in the comments if you guys are in your live. I'm not seeing too much from y'all, and the Wi-Fi looks like it's really low. So we're going to take a quick breather. Maybe this Wi-Fi shows back up again. Don't want to be saying too much meaningful stuff. But yes, after the Jordan flu game last week, we are doing much better. Things are going well. Just got a bit of a lingering cough. Okay, so we're back. It looks like the Wi-Fi is golden from your side and my side now. Let's cruise. Pulling up the model. Here's the course history for you guys. And it's got all of 2025 from the Farmers. It's got 2024. It's got the US Open. And the best finishes for all of those rounds. But we're not looking for that. We're looking for round 1 stuff. And we're showing Colin Morikawa here for a reason. If you zoom in a tick over here on Colin. In round 1, he's got the 3rd best strokes gained in round 1. In round 2, it's top 16. In round 3, he's the top 8. Then it drifts off to 59th for Colin Morikawa in round 4. Patrick Cantley hanging out at 70 freaking first. Like he completely disintegrates over the weekends as well lately. So we don't know what we're getting from these guys, but we do know that Colin has played particularly well at this golf course in the last little while. And he's played particularly well this year. He's only played 2 tournaments, Pebble and TOC, and he finished second at the TOC in a very lackluster Sunday. I think he gained 1 stroke that day when Hideki was going nuclear. So I can't quite get behind Colin for an outright. We wanted to bet him in the placement market, but the odds are so crap. I think he's like 14-1, so the top 5 market's nuked. There's just no value on the Colin Morikawa side of things. But I wanted to point out this atrocity of a Sunday situation that he's developing. And in the majors, people, I was diving into it. Last year, Colin Morikawa gained over 3 strokes in rounds 1, 2, and 3 on average in each round. So round 1, he gained 3 on average. Round 2, gained 3 on average. You know what I'm saying? Round 4, it's like half a stroke or 0 strokes. It was a complete disintegration in the majors on Sundays. So it's really interesting to see what he's going on with there. But Colin is an absolute yes, please, when it comes to showdown in rounds 1, round 2, round 3. I love him in the first round market as well. His odds are even higher than his outright market there. So we're going to be looking to Colin in that market over there. Let's get back to some form tracking here. There's some interesting things that I want to chat about when it comes to another man by the name of strokes gained off the tee this year. Let's go to the most improved strokes gained off the tee. And if you take a look here, we've got Maximus Homa, who, if we zoom out a smidgen, there we go. Oh, too much. There we go. Take a look at this situation here. The strokes gained off the tee for Max this year has been some of the best improvements across the PGA in this field. I don't know what the hell Keith Mitchell's doing in here, but if you take a look at Max here, we're sitting with the 6th best strokes gained off the tee. Rory's only played 1 round, 1 tournament. So that's only 3 rounds of metrics around Pebble Beach. But I'm assuming he's coming out with the driver just absolutely hot and heavy. But with how badly Max Homa's game has been trending the last little while, it is exciting to see that over the last little while, we've seen about a 0.6 strokes gain improvement off the tee. And off the tee is probably one of the hardest areas to gain significant amounts. Like if you'd go here and take a look at Rory, like you're not going to be seeing people do this. This was like an elite 3 rounds that you're going to find from Rory, which hopefully happens again this week, little pre-thing there. But nobody else in the field is gaining over a stroke, and these are the boys. This is Taylor Pendrith, Keith Mitchell, Daniel Berger doing it with accuracy and distance now. Bobby Mack, Kevin Yu, Lowry, Dietrich, Siwoo. There's lots of accuracy. There's tons of distance with some of these guys. These are the drivers. And none of them are eclipsing 1 stroke off the tee. If we filter on approach, we've got multiple guys that are over 1 stroke. We've got 4 people. Tommy Fleetwood being one of them with only 1 tournament, but you get the drift here. Seb Straka has been crushing in that market, so in that area. So there's a lot to like. So when we go back to Max Homa here for the biggest improvement, this is a drastic increase for him to not be losing that amount, because what the off the tee stuff does is it impacts your approach play. You can lose strokes on approach when you're hitting yourself behind trees that the shot link doesn't know is there, or the strokes gain metrics don't know is there. Times can be tough when you're not driving it well. So it's like dominoes. You're setting the first domino into effect, and then all of a sudden your iron play gets better. You're not chipping as much. You've got a lot more birdie putts going along. Good things are coming to those that wait. And Max Homa is waiting and waiting and waiting. Ugh, this Wi-Fi is driving me nuts. It's honestly driving me nuts. Driving me nuts. But we got a winter weather warning here in Iowa for a winter storm. It's getting very cold, and when it gets very cold like this, the Wi-Fi gets bad, unfortunately. So we're going to just keep doing our thing. But I figured I'd mention some off-the-tee stuff. If you take a look at Taylor Pendrith, he's just been absolutely driving the piss out of it lately. Good to see him doing that. We'll be chatting about him. Michael Kim, drastic improvements off the tee the last little while. Good to see him. And then Gary Woodland doing phenomenal things this year. Plays quite nicely at this golf course as well. Alrighty. And then one more thing before we get in here. We're going to dive into the model here shortly, but I figured I would do this. I went ahead and found the strokes gain total for all of these dudes for the North Course and the South Course because they've played mostly at the Farmers, and the North Course plays particularly easier than the South, which they'll be playing this week 4 times in a row. The North Course is on its own mission now. I really hope that you guys can hear this because the Wi-Fi looks like it's very low again. Ugh, this is driving me freaking nuts. Okay, we're back. But what I'm trying to say here is the North Course, very easy, typically, when the wind's not blowing. And as you can see, we've got strokes gain total here for Ludwig in his 2 rounds. He's gained 4.5 strokes over there. And then on the South Course, he's been pretty neutral. Granted, a lot of that has to do with the 3 rounds he played while he was sick or whatever. Benny on, similar stuff. So if you filter here by the guys that find the best improvement from the North Course to the South Course, like Mathieu Pavon in his couple rounds he's played on the South is significantly better than the North. Akshay Bhatia struggled on the North Course and played really good golf on the South. Victor Hovland, Cameron Young, Brian Harmon. These guys are important to take a peek at because it's a full round that they're not going to have to deal with anymore on a golf course that some of them have really struggled at. Most of these guys are losing strokes that if you're going to be finding this big of a jump to the south side of things, the more difficult venue, some guys are tailored to play better golf in those conditions. There's guys like Scottie that thrive in the more difficult conditions. Some people, I think Pat was saying that Rory doesn't play well when the conditions are easy, but at the same time, he's won like so many majors and been second and runner-up in a lot of majors lately, which are low-scoring affairs. So I don't think it's necessarily that big of an issue when it comes to the scoring conditions, and I actually do like it that it's wet for Rory. He plays well on soft golf courses, which typically free up the scoring a little bit, especially when the greens are a little softer and more receptive. So these are some names that you can take a peek at that typically won't be. Sam Stevens, another guy. He gained some strokes on the North Course and is still improving on the South. So he really balls out on the South, which is good to see. So just kind of putting this stuff out there for y'all to see what's going on. So now we're making our way back over to the model. Don't have the tee times yet, obviously, unfortunately, but that's okay. That's okay, Jose. We're going to just rock and roll, have a good time over here, and figure out where we're going. So without much further ado, let's go over to the other side of the model, show you the rankings for the upside. The upside rankings I use for DFS, GPPs, single entries. The safety rankings you can use for cash games. It incorporates a lot more top 40s, a lot more top 20s in the mix for safety. Upside incorporates a bit more top 5s, top 10s in that side of things. So you're looking at 2 different metrics here, and as a result, you're seeing the different numbers. Adam Scott, Tony Finau, for instance, is an ultra safe option when it comes to his play. He finds himself inside the top 20 at a 64 freaking percent clip and only inside the top 10 at 18% of the time. That's like lacking massive upside, considering how often he's inside the top 20. I mean, that conversion rate of 29% is kind of putrid. So it's important to remember that we've got these kind of profiles to dive around and figure out where we want to bet them. And as a result, I'm just going to put it out there. Tony Finau is absolutely going to be considered. I think there was a plus 100 at DraftKings, has the majority of the better lines this week outside of Bet365. I typically find the best placements over there with ties paid in full. DraftKings is offering some of the best numbers at the moment. So we're going to be looking at Tony Finau for a top 20, sorry. If we go over to the placement tool here and filter by safety, this is available to Patreon subscribers. This is available to you in the Discord. If we take a peek at what Tony Finau has been up to, 4th in the safety rankings, a 64% top 20 rate. We've seen him absolutely crush around this golf course. I believe DraftKings has a plus 110 on the Big Fiend. So a 28% edge in that market should be a 3-unit bet that we're placing, but we're probably only going to place the 2 once we figure out where the heck he's teeing off. Are they going to be playing split tees to try and get them fit into a weather pocket before the bad weather comes? Are they going to be sending all 72 guys off in twosomes, so 36 pairings? We don't know. And that's vital information. So these bets are not official. They're things that we have our eye on. And if the weather and the tee times make sense, we'll be pulling the trigger on them. There's a severe weather advantage if you go off early in the morning on Thursday. The wind picks up significantly in the afternoon. So hopefully Tony's in the morning. We'll be bagging him here for a top 20. At plus 110, it's telling us it happens only 48% of the time. Tony Finau finishes inside the top 20 64% of the time. And if we go over to Tony Finau's track record at this golf course, it's a top 20 in a decent chunk of his starts. I mean, what we got here, 5 top 20s at this golf course. He missed the cut here last 2 weeks ago or whatever. But before that, it was a 6th. Before that, it was a 9th. Then back-to-back missed cuts in 2022 and the US Open. Then in 2021, 2nd. In 2020, 6th. In 2019, 13th. So we know that the skill level is there to take this golf course apart. And we've seen some interesting form from him with 2 top 20s and 2 missed cuts, essentially, in his appearances here. Funnily enough, we were on him for those 2 missed cuts for top 20s. And we were not on him at Pebble, and we were not on him at Tournament of Champions because we didn't know if his knee was fine. Shows up at the TOC, plays great golf. We dive in at the Amex, misses the cut there. And then we dive in at the Farmers, misses the cut as well. Boom. Units gone out the window because we just were on the wrong side of random shit like this. So this is what happens when you're betting and you land up losing 25 units. It's stuff like this. You're cashing literally. There's a 50-50 chance he does it, and we went on the 2 times it wasn't. So we're going back again this week for a top 20 on Tony Finau. The track record he has is fantastic. As you can see, I think the most profitable bet at this golf course, if we go and take a look at the model over here, the betting research tool available to you as a Patreon sub, if we look at the Farmers Insurance Open, which is basically this golf course once again, it's where they've played most of this stuff. If we filter by the win-loss situation, he has Tony Finau's top 10 market. Been incredible. So he's been plus 275, plus 200, plus 250, plus 100 back in 2023 after he won here or finished second. That wasn't the second. This must have been the second. And then plus 275, plus 225. I think he's plus 280 for a top 10 this week. It shows not that he's playing bad golf, but that the field has improved. So these are all bets that you can look at as options we're going to be looking to go to. Sam Stevens is a great option right now. I think he's been playing some solid golf. We've got 2 top 20s in his last 3 times. Rory McIlroy, top 20 in the last 2 times that he's played since 2020. Taylor Pendrith, 3 of the 4 times he's played here has been inside the top 20. So some interesting names, some Tony Finau love, some Taylor Pendrith love. If we take a look at Taylor Pendrith's situation, 3 top 20s in his last 4 appearances at this golf course. If we take a look at his recent form, we got 1, 2, 3, 4 of his last 5 starts have been top 20s. So Taylor Pendrith, I believe, if we go over to the placement model over here, he should find himself right in the 13 hole for safety rankings. His top 20 rate is a 48% clip. We've seen, obviously, that's worked really nicely at this golf course. That's above 48%. And his recent form is above 48%. So you are seeing a plus 110 that's telling us, hey, baby, this happens at a 48% clip. But we know the model includes some recent top 20s and includes top 20s at this golf course in the calcs. So we get ourselves to a 9% edge, which is close to 10, which is a 1-unit bet for us. So we're going to be rocking and rolling. I've got a little FOMO on TP. A lot of people are on him this week. Hopefully he doesn't win and just finishes T19 for us. So at plus 110, that's a bet we are willing to make. If you take a look at what Taylor Pendrith has been doing, look at the odds for a top 20 for him over the years. It's drastically changed. And plus 110 in this field is lower than it was last week when he cashed, or the last week. When I say last week, I'm talking about the Farmers. Plus 150 to open up at the Farmers. So there's a lot to like from TP. A lot to like. Bo Hostler, what on earth? Look at this guy. And he has Tony Finau's top 20 track record, which is nice. We're going to go to that. As you can see, we're right in the range there. Plus 130 has been his best number, and then minus 200 back in 2023. So Tony must have been balling out back heading into 2023 over there. Some good stuff. So that's our first set of guys we're going to be looking at. This is the wrong one. We got 3 people in there. Here's my tool. We're going to be looking at some more placements because this is where we're looking. So we've got Ludwig that's popping as well for a top 20. Whether or not you believe his health is fine again, he's a great course fit at this golf course. There's a top 5 or a top 20 option here. Do we want to do a bit of both? Do we want to just lean into the top 20 and lay 1.25 units to win 1 on Ludwig? Or do we want to just lay 1.2, like 0.2 units to win 1 for the top 5, which is the bigger edge of the two? He's likely going to be at the top of the leaderboard if he's playing well anyway. If he's not, we're only missing 0.2 units. Whereas if we lay the top 20 and he's sick again and we don't know what's going on, we lose 1.25 units on that bet. This is the thing we're trying to figure out. Do we even want to go to him? Is that what we even want to do? Is his health back? Maybe the best bet to do on Ludwig is no bet. Are we pushing it? Yeah. That's the question. It might be weather dependent. I'm probably not going to land up betting this top 20 bet because I just don't know if I trust his health right now. So this is what's going on over here. Anthony's showing up finally, late as always now, becoming a habit for you, Anthony. Berger for GPPs, I think, is a sneaky option. Not sneaky option. Is a great option. We can get into that here shortly. But he's playing such good golf. I think he's got some good course history here. But his price is very affordable. So just be careful who you're playing with him. We'll dive into that here in a little bit. We have 1 or 2 more bets before we do a giveaway. Patrick Cantley's top 5 number is plus 500 now. It's a 21% edge. I just don't see him finishing top 5 this week. So, yeah, we were betting on Max Griesemann after an illness, like a hand injury. Remember when Max Griesemann was inside the top 5 with 1 hole to play at the Amex for a 2-unit top 5, and he pulled it into the water? And all he needed to do was a bogey, and he makes a double, and we lose that 2-unit bet. Like, this is what's happened this year with Max Griesemann and stuff. So it is what it is. We've struggled a little bit. Sam Burns is pathetic again. He just can't seem to get it together. But some names that we want to rattle off here as we're going along. Patrick Cantley is suggested to play well. I don't know if I believe that. That seems like fake news to me. Justin Thomas's price tag is it's not feasible. There's no edge on his price tag because the numbers are too short on his odds. The same thing with Colin Morikawa. There's a top 20 bet at plus 190 if you like that kind of thing. I don't know in this weather if I'm down for that. I'd like a top 5 on Colin. There's a 3% edge, but not 10. We're looking for like big edges in the markets, yeah. So Sanjay in for a top 5, Sanjay in for a top 10, Sanjay in for a top 20 is either or. He let us down in the top 20 market last time. But if you take a look at Sanjay Im's situation, like we can go over here, do top 10s for Sanjay, Farmers, type this in, boom, yes, Sanjay, top 10, second best bet behind Tony Finau. 2022, 2023, and 2025, top 10s at this golf course. Did we check in for a top 20 for Sanjay? Sanjay Im, top 20. He has a top 20 bet for Sanjay. So basically, when he's finishing top 10, it's top 20s. And when it's not, it's not. Whatever that means. It is what it is. So we're going to be looking at that top 10 bet for sure. If we take a look at what Sanjay's been up to over here, odds-wise, that's Taylor Pendrith. We want Sanjay Im. We're getting odds for top 10s at plus 175, plus 200, plus 175, plus 225. What are they right now is the question. And Sanjay's odds for a top 10 is plus 260. So it's better than it's been in the last 4 years. Obviously, a field much more prodigious than a Farmers Insurance. But man, he's incredible around this golf course. He's top 5 in the field in driving accuracy at this golf course, which is vital. If you are not in the fairway, you need to be way down there in the rough this week. He's in the fairway basically behind Colin Morikawa in accuracy. So he's always in the fairway at this golf course. He hits a lot of fairways, and I'm a fan of this top 10 bet for him. Maybe we bet a little bit of both. We lay like 1.3 units on this bet, and we go after the top 10 and top 20. Minus 105 for a top 20, and then we lay a little extra for a top 10 just in case he does that for us. Or do we want to really go ramp it up and go top 5, top 10 for 2 units, laying less than 1 total? I don't know. We got to see the weather. If he's in the nice weather edge, I'll take the top 20. If it's and the top 10. I think that's not the worst combination here. He's really going back to him here. I don't mind him for a top 20 because the field's a bit better. If that top 5, top 6 return that he typically produces in a weak field turns into a 12th, then that top 20 is good to go. But he's also proved he can ball out in big fields. So I like the top 20, actually. Let's not get too cute with the top 10. You can go to that market if you're in the mood. All right, folks. In this field, let's do a giveaway. For the first month free for you in the Model Maniac Discord, you can come on over, hang out with all of us in there. I see a lot of you from the Discord over here. TG's in the house. Jack's cooking over here. Side's cooking. And Brandon saying, appreciate the content, my brother. I appreciate you. Brandon with a Y. I love that. All righty. What are we thinking here? Oh, yes, Darbo pissing on my parade again. Not sure of how much weather edge you'll get when tee times are all within 2 hours of each other. No kidding, Darbo. That's what we're waiting for the goddamn tee times for. Also, Darbo's my good friend. Don't worry, I'm not assaulting some random subscriber to the channel over here. To the giveaway. Make sure to give the video a yes, please. It helps me a ton. I'm a dad now. Diapers are expensive. Piper's shitting out of her ass like a crazy son of a bitch. They came out. Oh, so they're doing 2 tees. Lame. So I figured in a signature event, they're going to go off 1 tee. Off they go. No. 72-man field, we're doing 2 tees. Sucks. No weather edge. It is what it is. 31 people watching, only 3 likes. That's disgusting. I might not even do the giveaway anymore. So you better pepper that like button in the meantime, people. I'm getting feisty over here. All right, giveaway time. Let me know who has been the most profitable top 20. Let's go with the top 10 bet. Who's been the most profitable top 10 bet in this field on the PGA Tour over the last 12 months, 13 months? Darbo saying, don't do it. Don't hit the like button. I'm going to come and sabotage your stream next, buddy. You're saying don't do the giveaway until the likes come in. So who has been the most profitable top 10 bet that is playing in this field over the last 13 months? Basically, we're trying to win $100 on every single bet. So whatever you need to bet to win that $100 every time they play, that's the top 10 return that you'll be making. Phil saying Pendrith as his selection. Ted Lawyer. Is that like lava? Lava. You remind me of some of my friends in South Africa at the Keg and Kudu. Hey, baby. Don't do the giveaway. And then Darbo chimes in with Tony Finau. Joanne saying Tony Finau, she did beat you to it, Darbo. So you're going to have to come up with a different name. I'm going to pull up right now the most profitable top 20 bet in this field. Not just at the Farmers. It's going to be for the last 13 months. And, Joanne knows. Joanne's already in the thing. So Tony Finau is the number 1, and Joanne's in the Discord. So keep firing off, people. I'll give you to the second person. The second most profitable top 20 bet since the start of 2024, I'm going to need from you. Tony Finau is number 1. He's returned you $639 in that market. That's why we keep going after him in that market. We'll be doing it again. There's another name here that played pretty well at the Farmers. So he definitely finished inside the top 5. I'll give you that. So you guys can fire it off. He's the second best top 20 bet you could have made on the PGA Tour in this field over the last little while. Not Sungjae. Not Day. Not Im. Sungjae Im, same thing. Not McIlroy. Joanne, you're already in the goddamn Discord. Are you in the Discord yet? I sent you the link on Patreon, by the way. I was heavy on this guy. Yeah, you know. We were all in on this dude. There we go. Phil knows. Let's go. Congratulations, Phil. You're in the Discord. Hit the link in the description below. Get yourself in there. We'll get you hooked up for a month. If you want to be in the Discord, hit the Patreon link in the description below. Come join us. Use code FGD. Get yourself 20% off. Here's Andrew Novak. Since 2024, he's been a top 20 beast. He gets going in his little clumps. Played some good golf once he left the Waste Management last year with the top 20 at Mexico, Cognizant, Valspar, RBC Canadian, Rock, John Deere. And then this year, Pebble Beach and the Farmers, top 20 bets. We bet Andrew Novak for top 40s, I think, at the American Express and the Sony Open. Then we get off him at the Farmers Insurance because we don't know if he's playing good golf. And then he rattles off 2 freaking top 20s in a row. What is going on? What is going on? So we finally bent back to him, I think, at Pebble for a top 40 or something. Wouldn't be a top 40 at Pebble because it was a signature event. This is just how the year's gone. It's just been weird-ass variance. Congrats to Phil. I think this is the way to go. Novak in Mexico. Is Tony Finau going to be playing in Mexico? I've been stalking the crap out of that freaking Twitter account, and I haven't seen him commit yet. So I really hope he does, because otherwise a lot of my best ball lineups are toast that have made it through to the second round. By the way, the Dog Dominator is also in the description or the link below. The Dog Dominator. It's for best ball drafting. I'll be pulling that up a bit more in the future once we start really rolling that out. I want to get my full Patreon year subscription out there so it's easier to put that part of the package for you guys. But the link to Dog Dominator is in the description below. If you're doing best ball drafts, it's a must-have in order to get your schedule going again. There's a link to the Discord in the description, Phil. Okay, cool. Once you join that, I'll hook you up after the show. Can't do it right now, obviously. So Andrew Novak. Do we go back to Novak this week? He's not necessarily anywhere near the top of the leaderboard because of the field. So his safety and upside in this field is 39th and 42nd. Not ideal. Jason, if you are mentioning Scottie Scheffler about the giveaway, you need to hit the live button. You're slightly behind. Boom. You're welcome, my brother. Thank you. I appreciate every single one of you people that watch the show. Every single one of you that hits the like. You guys freaking rock. It makes it so much easier to do this when I have your guys' support. And, you participate in the chat. It keeps me engaged, yeah. So, Andrew Novak, top 20 rates. He's not inside the top 20 in my safety rankings. It's hard to kind of get it going for him in this market because you got to be inside the top 20 in safety. Let's take a look here. Where is Andrew Novak's top 20 market? Yeah. Okay. Novak is plus 210. Does that plus 220 for a top 20 for Andrew Novak? 7% edge. It's there. It's there. I don't know if I like it in this field. It's the big boys. It's the big boys this week. So won't be going to Andrew Novak. I don't think we'll be playing him in DFS as we peruse that here shortly. Cameron Davis, as I'm lying to you, Billy Horschel. But Cameron Davis has got some nice top 20 metrics here as well and has played some good golf at this golf course as well. He's plus 210 for a top 40. But Andrew Novak's is the same, and he's got the same ranking here, so I doubt that changes anything. 7% as well. So I don't know if I'm in the mood for that. Billy Horschel showing up for a top 10. He's just a top 10 fiend. Every time he finishes inside the top 20, it's basically a top 10. Let's get Phil's swag off the sheet here. Get my face back in the mix, make this thing a bit bigger. Billy Horschel. Do we like him here or not? You can get yourself on a Billy Horschel top 10 at plus 700. That's never a bad thing. If you take a look at Billy Horschel's situation, we've got, excuse me, throat's drying up a little bit, yeah. Billy Horschel has been cataclysmically bad or a top 11. We got an 8th place in 2019 and 11th in 2022, and nothing better than a 68th place any other time he's played here. Missed the cut for the US Open, finished top 10 at Pebble, kind of backdoored the crap out of that one. Hasn't necessarily been playing the greatest golf this year outside of Pebble Beach. So a plus 700 number, I think a $6,700 price tag in DFS is a bit more appealing than a top 10 bet on Billy Horschel. All right. Any other placements that we wanted to get to that I haven't spoken about? I did want to chat about Russell Henley. Let's filter on the upside rankings for a little bit, yeah. Z to A. As always, I will have the rest of these bets that I haven't figured out. Yeah, I got to go look at the tee times, and then we'll have them in the Discord. I wanted to mention Russell Henley, who finishes inside the top 40 at a very handsome 39%. And if you take a look at his plus 137 odds, which I believe is a bet 365 number, you are getting yourself a 9% edge there for top 20. We don't want that. We want to go and get the plus 350. I think that's a plus 330 now for a top 10, because that's his market. You know what I'm saying? If you get the top 20 and the top 10 numbers very close together, you go to the shorter one. Go to the top 10. When you're basically doing a simultaneous finish inside the top 20, top 10, bet the best number, which is the top 10 at plus 330. There's an 18% edge over there for us, given Russell Henley's upside ranking of 12. Wow, throat is very dry right now. Hold on. We're looking to get off. I said I was 85%. I think I've regressed to 80% on the show. I'm getting sucked dry over here. But the flu has been terrible here in the Midwest lately. So back to Russell Henley, plus 330, 18% edge. Let's go. I love his chances here. If you take a look at what Russell Henley's been up to at this golf course, a lot to like about him. The upside ranking, obviously the better of the two versus the safety, as it is displayed by his top 20 versus top 10 rates. Russell's only ever played here once, and it was a 13th place finish in the US Open. He finished 5th at Pebble, 10th at Sony. So, I mean, his last two starts have been top 10s. Were they the best fields? Pebble was solid. He also made 1 million birdies on the final 9 to get in there. He's playing good golf, though. And at plus 330, I'm willing to go there. So we're betting Russell Henley for sure. All right. He's in. Sungjae Im is in. We're going to be betting him top 20, I believe. It seems like there's no weather edge, so we can kind of rattle these names off. Shane Lowry, we'll be betting as well for a top 20. If we take a look at Shane Lowry's situation on the Maniac placement tool for the top safety numbers, Shane Lowry shows up quite quickly in a big way when it comes to the top 20 situation. Where the hell is this guy? Yeah, 6th. Big difference between upside and safety for Shane. Take a look at these numbers. Top 20% for Shane, 63% of the time. Top 10 rate, 27% of the time. So it's more than double his top 10 rate is his top 20, and his top 10 rate is quite high. So that's a really solid top 20 number. If you go by top 20 in this field, it's like the 5th best top 20 rate. So that's why he's 6th for safety. But if you go by top 10 rate for Shane, it goes all the way down here. Where the heck is Shane? All the way down at the bottom. So hitting lights again. God damn it. I got to figure out the studio. Got to figure my stuff out. Streaming does take energy. And Ted says, I need a castle light. Well, it was all the shotguns I think I did on Fantasy Golf Degenerates that kind of started this thing. But I was sick on Monday already. My wife was definitely sick on Monday. I got sick on Tuesday. Who would you play in soggy conditions to pin seek all week? Guys with tons of distance, guys with tons of accuracy this week. Excuse me. If you're looking for guys with accuracy, they have to be hyper accurate. You can't have like a mediocre accuracy type situation. It has to be hyper accurate. I think it's vital because typically the accurate guys don't have the distance. Look at Colin Morikawa, look at Sungjae Im. They all find themselves slightly below average on distance, but they definitely send it out there and keep it in the fairway. So it's safe, and you've got your approach shots that are off nice grass. It's not the cabbage patch. Good things come from the fairway at this golf course in particular. Then if you're looking for guys that bomb it, they need to have elite distance. Look at Aldrich Potgieter. He had 20 more yards than Wyndham Clark's average, which leads this field in driving distance. So it's kind of crazy to think about. So guys that send it, we can look in the model here. Here's distance, weighted driving stats, distance. That's the worst distance. We want the best distance. By the way, some of these numbers don't make sense because there's more than I guess I did delete the reserves out of here. Okay, good. So the top distance guys: Rory McIlroy, Rasmus Højgaard, Minwoo Lee, Gary Woodland, Wyndham Clark, Benny On, Taylor Pendrith, Cameron Young, Ludwig, Griesemann, JT. This Danny List kid apparently hits it 1,000,000 miles. So these are the top distance guys. If you're looking for accuracy options, we've got Colin Morikawa. And you see, look at this. Like, there's no one that's inside the top 30 in distance until you get to Keegan Bradley all the way down here as the 19th most accurate option. So he's the first that has a bit of the combination of both. And as a result, you should see you should see decent strokes gained off the tee metrics for him, given that combination. As you can see here, Sungjae and him, very, very solid. So is Davis Thompson, given those nice green boxes. This is where all the distance guys are coming in, outside the top 20 in accuracy. But back to the top of the board. Aaron Rai, Colin Morikawa, Russell Henley, Sepp Straka. He's been driving it very accurately lately, and at this golf course, that can make a difference. This is a plus, by the way. So golf courses longer than 7,200 yards, these are the strokes gained off the tee. Scottie Scheffler is obviously number one. Sepp Straka on the longer courses tends to struggle, but he hits a lot of fairways at this golf course too. Dropped the driving accuracies and driving distances at this course in the Discord as well. So those are there for the people that have the interest to look at how these guys have played at this golf course in the past. Daniel Berger, Lucas Glover, Scottie Scheffler. He's pretty damn solid, but his distance isn't that high. You know, he's 34th in the field in distance. Brian Harman, Tommy Fleetwood. So interesting names. Brian Harman's only ever played here for the US Open when he finished top 20, and then the 2019 Farmers where he missed the cut. Brian Harman has not finished inside the top 20 yet this year, and he's played a multitude of different tournaments. So not necessarily in the greatest form, although his floor seems relatively ideal right now. So I don't know at this golf course if he's going to be worth a shout. Obviously very accurate off the tee. As you can see, Shane Lowry is one of these guys that's got a lot of accuracy as well. He's inside, I guess the distance. Yeah. So the accuracy is right there for Shane. Solid on these longer courses too, because he gets it in the fairway. Let's take some stock. Where are we going next? The show has lost its complete identity since there's not a lot of bets going on, since I didn't figure out what's going on with the tee times. I'm sorry, people. I'm sorry. Let's chat about some Kevin Yu. Let's see my brother asking about Kevin. Here's Kevin Yu. Kevin Yu's got 15th most distance in this field, gains the 18th most strokes on long golf courses. Love to see it. 35th in accuracy. Not too shabby, given it's middle of the pack. 72 people in this field, remember? Kevin Yu's long irons, not as good as his mid irons. He's like a 150 to 200 yard guy. Very, very solid days inside the top 25 for most metrics in that department. Seventh most strokes gained from 150 to 200 in that bucket. He's also very good at hitting greens from out the rough. He has out of the rough metrics, and his strokes gained from the rough for Kevin Yu from 150 and out is 14th in the field. It's 71st, from inside 150. So this is a perfect golf course. If you're going to be in the rough all the time, might as well be long rough, where Kevin Yu's very, very good. So good metrics there for him. Putting on POA is a disaster. Putting in general is a disaster for Kevin. Not the best. Solid par 5 scorer and tends to fire himself up on a Sunday. He's going to be guaranteed that if he can make it to the weekend. Let's go, Kevin. Finished 6th year in 2024. Solid stuff. Showed up with a bit of form at the Waste Management. Finished 16th. I tell you, the disrespect this guy gets. Look at this. The Zozo finished 16th. RSM 11th. Waste Management 16th. He won the Sanderson Farms, was it? Which was prior to this. So this dude's balling out, and he's $6,000 flat at a golf course that really suits his skill level and skill set. I'm in, baby. Let's go. Like, you don't have to sell me twice on this guy. I think he's got some good stuff going on. Kevin Yu, this for you, my brother. Tom Hoagie might be broken. I agree. I don't know if I like him this week, Phil. I don't know if he's the guy I want to go to at this golf course, because Tom Hoagie, here he is all the way at the bottom of this situation. If you take a look at Tom Hoagie's situation off the tee, there's not anything elite. He's 61st in distance and 44th in accuracy. So he's got neither. Not going to help you around this golf course. And your iron play, he's very, very good with the irons, but out of the rough, what is he like out of the rough from long? As you can see, I mean, look at Tom Hoagie's metrics. Very delightful stuff. Out of the rough, he's not terrible. 5th in the field in strokes gained out of the rough from 150 and out, Tom Hoagie. But this is different rough as well. I don't know why I'm going backwards on him, but he's hurt me. I bet him top 20 last week, and he was missing tap-ins with one hand. Like, what are we doing? What are we doing? Finishes top 20 at Pebble. We go back to Waste Management top 20. 99. Misses the cut. We bet him at the Amex for a top 20. Finishes 29th. It's just, we can't get it. We can't find these guys correctly. And then his recent form here outside of a 2025th place has been outside the top 40. So I can't do Tom Hoagie. I prefer Jake Knapp. Does anyone know? Yeah. Is he $6,000? Is he a flat 6? I'd imagine. Let's just make him $6,100 for now. I don't know what Jake Knapp's price is. Yeah. So if you play Jake Knapp and Kevin Yu together, Jesus, I mean, those are two very good skill sets. If you want to just do what Ben Raza does and you stack some skill sets together, what are these guys? They're distance guys. They're big hitting distance boys. So if we go and we stack Kevin Yu, top 15 in the field in distance, Jake Knapp, seems like the metrics need to be updated still because he was added to the field. So that makes a lot of sense. Okay, he's not dead. Well, yeah, the distance cannot be 56. So I'll change that for you guys going forward. We know his distance is good. Let's get it going in here. Rory is a perfect option if you're looking for, like, if distance is what unlocks it this week in the soft conditions. I love a solid Rory play. Gary Woodland. I mean, you can go Jake Knapp, Kevin Yu, Gary Wood. I mean, Gary Woodland's not been playing terrible golf. I think he's going to be quite popular, but he's never played the greatest around here. Also, back in 2019, back in the heyday, had a top 10. Nothing better than a 39th since. But in his recent starts, been pretty scintillating. You know, we've got what? 4 starts of the last 6 have been top 22. Good stuff. Good stuff from Gary at $6,600. So I think you can definitely get going with Gary in the DFS world. Wyndham Clark, you can play some serious stars and scrubs in this field. I mean, there's definite potential here Wyndham Clark finally showing some form. Has never necessarily played the greatest at this golf course, but we know what he did in 2024. Became a better golfer then, and with all that distance. So maybe he can get it going here. But granted, he leads the field in distance overall in this field. Played here. Distance at this golf course, he leads the field. There we go. Jeez, that took forever for me to get out of my mouth. We like Minwoo Lee. In fact, I might be betting him for a top 30 at minus 167. We bet him for a top 40 last week at minus 125. We went in for 2 units, and he cashed that for us. Clutch. Big time for Minwoo. We'll be going back to him for a top 30. Look at this guy. Finishes inside the top 40 at a 76% clip. Finishes inside the top 20, 27% of the time. So usually you're looking to double it. So like the safe way to like kind of find where the value lies here is if you take 76 and you divide it by 2, that's what, 38. You should be seeing a 38% top 20 rate, like if everything works uniformly. Then if you go from a 38% top 20 rate, you divide that in half, you should get to about 19% for a top 10 rate. He doesn't have that. And then you divide that in half, and then you should be getting about 9% for a top 5 rate. He's there. But if you go backwards now, as you can see, like the top 10 rate and the top 5 rate's the same for him. So he only pops a few times, doesn't ever flirt with the top 10 relentlessly. He has a good few finishes here and there. We'll see. But he finished here 43rd in 2024. Did not play this year, so maybe he can do a bit better this year. Now in the second go around at this golf course, that really will suit his skill level, given the fact that we've seen a 17th and a 12th from him in the last 2 starts on the PGA Tour. I'm going to pull up Minwoo Lee's data golf page real quick because it's really impressive. Man, that's some far away stuff right here. Let's zoom in a bit. I think I did this last week when I pulled up his top 40 bet. Look at this. Let's count top 30s in the last little while across the world in DP World Tour stuff as well. But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 of the last 12, 13 starts. So 11 of his last 13 have been top 30s. 12 of his last 13 have been top 32s. Like, none of them have been a top 10 apart from some Asia Tour event where he lost. It was like his worst performance of that stretch almost. Where's the ceiling? It's on the floor for Minwoo, basically. Like, the guy is super consistent. I mean, here's the one top. We got a Cognizant Classic second and a Rocket Mortgage second. That's it. That's the only other top 5s he's got on the PGA Tour, and it was just these random pops where he just randomly played well. So I like him as a safe play. I like him with the distance. Obviously, like him a lot in that department. So Minwoo Lee, definitely going to be looking at him. Okay. Yeah. Split tee times threesomes. Threesomes are fun. Not when you're playing golf, though. Maybe on the golf course, but not when you're teeing it up. Jason Julius, my brother, thank you for that information. The most common lineups will have Minwoo, Berger, and Knapp. Might even include Woodland. Yeah, probably. Okay, so Knapp is 6K. Cool, thank you for that. Let's find him here and get him the correct price if I ever find him. $6,000. Okay, good. And that doesn't even matter because no one else has the sheet. So why am I even doing that? I don't know. Daniel Berger. I had to adjust his ranking a little bit because he's found incredible form the last little while. And don't be off-put or misled by his lack of distance. I saw Daniel Berger on the screen playing the Waste Management on 18th hole, and he ripped 182 ball speed. He hit a drive with 182 mile per hour ball speed. Rory McIlroy's top end drives are like 190, and that's like elite of the elite. Wyndham Clark sits in the 186s, 187s. He's top end distance. Daniel Berger ripped a 182 ball speed drive. High in the air. Not one of those like low screamers that he's patented, but a high nuke. And I think we might see a lot more of those this week. So he's got that in the bag now. And we know that typically he's unique. He's like a unicorn when it comes to driving. He's now got distance, but he hits that little power low fade. That's a fairway finder, literally the 6th best accuracy in the field. Drives the ball well on these longer courses because he's always in the fairway. And then we take a look at what Andrew Novak, he's done here. 7th at the US Open and then 20th in 2022. That was when his health was still good. I believe I started working for Rotoballer in 2022. And my first ever article was for the Honda Classic. And I had Daniel Berger written up. And he had a 5-stroke lead going into Sunday. And he was my guy I chose to win the tournament. And he lost it. So Thomas Dietrich had a 5-stroke lead going into last week and won by 7. And Daniel Berger's a multiple-time winner on the PGA Tour. So I don't know. I might just be cursed when it comes to these kind of things. But it is what it is. Obviously injured when he played here the last little while. The wind in 2025, not ideal. We will take that for a grain of salt. Solid finish at the Waste Management. Solid finish at the RSM. He's had 2 second-place finishes in the last little while. $6,900 at a golf course that he has shown us some upside. And we could see US Open conditions more so than Farmers Insurance conditions this week. Cameron Davis is also someone I want to chat about. Hasn't necessarily played the greatest golf here. But we've got a 13th, an 18th, and a 5th in the last little while. And if we go over to this tracking situation here versus some historic metrics, I think I saw Cam Davis is one of the more improved options. Yeah. Number 1 in strokes gained improved. So he's gained 1.5 strokes per round this year, and he's lost half a stroke off the tee. So once he's driven the golf ball, he's gaining himself like 2 strokes per round. Nothing was firing in 2024. A lot seems to be working in 2025. And he's got tons of distance off the tee as well. If you take a look at what Cam Davis's distance is off the tee, it should be somewhere in the middle of the pack, at least to the top. We're going to scroll all the way back here, take a quick stop and see his good shots from 200 plus, 11th in the field. In the fairway, he's going to be hitting it and gaining over half a stroke quite routinely. That's what a good shot is, gaining half a stroke on a single shot. From 200 plus, we're going to see a lot of shots this week. Out the rough, his proximity is 23rd in the field, but his strokes gained is 55th from 150 and out the rough. His proximity is also pretty solid from 150 to 200, and he's very good with the wedge. But we're looking for his distance, 28th in the field, so right in the middle, like I thought. There we go. So I like him, and I like Andrew Novak a lot in a big way. Any Cam Young love with the distance and recent semi-good form? Cameron Young, you just won't find me playing him much. The distance is obviously very nice, 8th in the field. He's a very solid wedge player, very good at hitting good shots from 150 to 200. But he's, for someone that's got as long a distance advantage as he does, look at these metrics from 200 and out. It's probably why he's not the greatest par 5 scorer in the world, given his distance. I mean, he's 38th in the field in par 5 scoring for my model here. And it's got to do with the fact that he's just pretty crap out of the rough from 150 and out. He's very bad at avoiding the poor shots from 200 and out. And his strokes gained is 71st in this field. Like, he's just not a good long iron player for someone that's got as much distance as he does. So we can take a look. And I think the putting was the main reason he finished 12th at Waste Management, and he finished 8th at the Tournament of Champions, which is more of a driver distance wedge combo there than it is here. This is driver long iron. At the TOC, it's driver wedge. That makes a lot of sense why he finished 8th. So I don't know. 2022, he finished 20th here. He's missed 2 cuts prior to that. I'd prefer Adam Scott. I mean, that's a perfect pivot for me if you're looking for some skill. Look at this man. Handsome as all get up. 2nd in 2019, 10th in 2021, and 35th at the US Open when a lot of these youngsters were missing the cut still. He was peaking. And I was about to say a whole bunch of other stuff there that I'm glad I didn't. But if we take a look at his Pebble Beach finish, 22nd there, and that was after we had 5 units riding on a freaking top 20 for Adam Scott at Pebble Beach. 5. We bet him live at 14-1 after the first round. And we also bet him pre-tournament for 2 units. And he finishes 22nd. Like, 5 unit swing. Didn't happen. Negative for us. Big time. I think we lost 7 units on, like, that's a 7 unit swing because you bet the 2 and then you lose the 5 that you could have won. We down 25 units. That hits. All of a sudden we're in. Nico Echeverria wins the tournament. That's a 10 unit win. No, Nick Taylor chips in for eagle and then our guy 3 putts and Nick Taylor gets up and down for birdie. It's just been a disaster of a year. Like, I think the process has been fine. There's nothing you can do about that kind of shit. There really is. Now, if I'm continually betting on Sahith the Gala, then you can tell me that I'm not following the rules here because he's just been straight up shit the last little while. Even at golf courses where we like him, where he's finished 4th in 2023, it's just been outside the top 30 nonstop. Like, we haven't had a good finish from Sahith in a long time. So he's more of a showdown guy, particularly in round 2. Apparently, he seems to get his shit together of a very bad round 1. He's the 3rd best round 2 scorer in this field. And if you're looking for like even more details, I've got this stuff for you guys in this package. Like, if we want to take a look at the round 2 stuff, boom, here it is. So yes, Sahith the Gala, why is he not even interesting metrics here? Why is he not number 1 then? Weird stuff. But take a look at this. I mean, he's incredible when it comes to round 2 stuff. It's easily his best round. Why is he's... No, I'm going to have to investigate that now too. Anyway. For one and done, I saw someone ask about... Who was it? Who was your one and done question? It was early on. What's Mike? Sorry, Mike, I didn't even see you. What's cooking, my brother? Good to see you again. Here we go. Taking Luddy one and done. I don't mind him as a one and done option, by the way. Where the heck did this get asked? Who's Danny Liss and what is he doing? He's some award win, like he played on the on another tour that I think Billy Horschel like runs or whatever. And then it's like based out of that area. Every time they play in this area, they get sponsors invites over there. Excuse me. Where was this one and done question? Rory or Aberg for one and done? Great question. If you're like ahead of the pack already, you can play defensively and hit Rory up. If you're looking to make up ground, I think Ludwig's your guy as a leverage option. We have a one and done tool over here for y'all. And let's see what it kicks out for us. The rankings are telling us, let's get this hidden. Rory's number 1 pick. Hideki Matsuyama is next. Tony Finau is next. Where the heck is Scottie at, yeah? Scottie Scheffler. Where is Scottie? He has to be in the mix, yeah, surely. Oh, I'm just finding like things wrong everywhere I'm going. I think Scottie gets dinged because he's hardly ever played here before. Jesus Christ. Yeah. I mean, what the heck is he doing down in 29th? But I think what it's got to do is the fact that we are back at the Farmers Insurance. So if you take a look at the Farmers Insurance stuff for Scottie, his course history here isn't the greatest. And I think what it's incorporating is there's like other places to play him. You definitely want to be looking at like the Genesis Invitational at Riviera, not Torrey Pines. There's a nice green box, which you don't see a lot of, which is telling us to play Scottie Scheffler at the Houston Open. Now, that would be a weird place to play him, but weirder things have happened. That's not where you're going to see the majority of your income coming from, because it's all about cash prizes in the Mayo one and done. And as you can tell, we're struggling in that department a little bit. We had Sahith over here for that one. Not ideal. So Rory is the number one pick. I think it's the square pick over here this week. I think Colin will be quite popular as well. I think Rory can win this thing. So maybe you just stick him in and take advantage of that driver. We haven't even spoken about him yet, and it's an hour 15 into the show. Rory, been playing great. He's got great course history here. He's got a great comp course history. If you think about Bay Hill, if you think about Murfield, all those places, those are like thick, rough. If you think about where did he play nicely at Oak Hill for the PGA Championship? I can't remember. But the course history, 2019, he finished 5th. 2020, he finished 3rd. 2021, 16th. And the US Open in 2021, finished 7th. So his worst finish at this golf course is 16th. We know what the driver can do off the tee. I mean, his first start on the PGA Tour was a W. He's won already on the DP World Tour. And if you think about Rory, when it comes to trends that we've seen in the past, remember John Rahm did the same thing, I think, heading into 2022 or 2023 probably, when he went nuclear on the DP World Tour, won once or twice out there, then won the Century, then won the Amex, and then won at Riv, the Genesis Invitational. Rory has won on the DP World Tour, I think the DP World Tour Championship. He won that. Then he won Pebble. And now he's playing the Genesis Invitational. He's in the same form. He's got the same kind of skill set as John Rahm. He's got the same course history as what John Rahm has. Not as good with John Rahm's wins, but a lot to like. He's plus 750. We found that earlier yesterday. I think it's gone back to 7-1. I would still bet it. I'm single bulleting this week with Rory, with each ways, because you're getting like a plus 170 or plus 190, I think, as an each way at plus 750. But there's only plus 170s, 150s out there right now on Rory for top 5. But I would be betting Rory as a top 5 if I hadn't got him as an outright. These bogey avoidances and the birdie rates are for difficult scoring conditions. So he avoids bogeys really, really nicely in the recent rounds on difficult golf courses. So you got a lot that you can like about Rory. He's solid on POA. We at least saw him do okay in the last 36 rounds. Includes Pebble Beach, where he putted quite nicely. But this week, I don't think you have to lean that much on the putter. Just go and hit freaking nukes, dude. Tons of distance off the tee. And he's 22nd in accuracy. That's the crazy thing. Like, that's a bananas combination. That's basically an 11.5 rating off the 2 rankings. I'm not sure you'll find a better one combination. Like, you're going to have to find a top guy. I think the best one we saw was Keegan Bradley, which kind of averages out to like 20. So, I mean, Rory's total driving right now is ludicrous. Look at this ball striking. It's right behind Scottie, and then you get a better putter in the bag. Let's go. So, there's Scottie's around the green play, 25th in the field, hey? Interesting. But, yeah, Rory's driver, what does he do? I mean, his wheelhouse, his best strokes gained from all the different buckets, from 150 to 100, from 150 to 200, or for 200 plus. His best metric is from 200 and out, 16th in the field, 11th in the field in proximity from that range. And out of the rough, he's the second best gaining strokes. Got tons of distance from 150 and out. Got tons of club head speed to get out that thick rough. I love Rory McIlroy over here out the rough. as well, which he won't be finding himself in that much given his accuracy accuracy off the tee. So love Rory this week. We're betting him as a single bullet to win this goddamn fucking golf tournament. Let's hit a goddamn winner, people. Let's go. It's time. Excuse me for the F-bomb there. It's just time for stuff to break our way. I'm looking forward to a good week this week. Someone asked me earlier about Colin. Where is this person? This guy. The Vandal. Go check the beginning of the show. We spoke about Colin quite a lot earlier there. Phil's going to fade Scottie and Rory. Going to just go to the cheap chalk. Justin and Colin. By the way, like Justin Thomas at this golf course, 19th at the US Open, 20th in 2022, 25th at 2023. JT had a backdoor top 6 last week. We bet Justin Thomas live on Saturday after he got through 11. I think he parred 11. Bet him as he's heading to 12, because then you get the 2 par 5s, 13 and 15, drivable 17th, makes a couple birdies there. We're good to go. No. Bogeys hole 12, odds double. Pars 13, odds double. Pars 15, and the next thing is like 40-1, and we'd already bet him at 18 live. Like, we waited for that moment and got in at completely the worst time. And then he finished 6th. We bet him for a 3-way each way. 3-ways aren't good when you're betting them, when you're doing them with a Justin Thomas. So I don't know. I think the hype on this man, again, he gets off to these hot starts in round 1, and then you literally saw it last week. Played nicely. Then he drifts back into the pack on Fridays and Saturdays, and then shows up on a Sunday. That's exactly why we thought we could go and bet him live on a Saturday afternoon. Should have just waited until he was done with the round and then bet him on Sunday morning or Saturday night. No, we got antsy and bet him too soon. But this is the pattern that you get with him. If he's down the leaderboard way back, he does this stuff. He comes flying up the leaderboard out of nowhere. He's got zero clutch, unless it's a Ryder Cup. But I don't know. People like him a lot this week. Colin, obviously, is probably a better option in DFS if I were to play him. But I'm down for these two dudes in a big way, but mainly just Rory. I think I'm just going to load up on Rory. I think he's easily the better option. If you take a look at the safety rankings and stuff, the ratings, not the rankings. If you take a look at the ratings, Scottie Scheffler is like 5'9", Rory's 5'4". So that's only half a stroke when it comes to safety. And the same thing for upside. It's a bit more because Scottie's got insane upside ability with that 77% top 10 rate. But if we do it by upside, it's basically 1.3 difference between Scottie to Rory. That's way more than what Rory is to Ludwig, Cantley, and Colin. And if you go from Rory to Colin, I mean, or Ludwig, that's a 2 rating gap. So, I mean, the difference between Rory to Ludwig in the model versus Rory to Scottie in the model, he's a lot closer to Scottie than he is to the third place guy, which is exciting. And then if you do the safety for the top 5, for me, it's Rory. Like, he's even closer. I mean, look at how much he makes up ground over here. It's only half a stroke, and then he's a full 1.2 strokes ahead of Colin again. So, like, Rory is closest to Scottie he's been for me in the model for a long time. So I cannot pass that up right now. I like him a lot. DFS betting, we're going to go all the way. Michael Kim or Kevin Yu? If you had to choose in DFS, I would imagine Kevin Yu becomes the least owned, and he's got really good upside. Michael Kim's very curious because if you take a look at what Michael Kim has got up to, by the way, we can go back here, just shouting out the tool that I used earlier, the form tracker, off the tee. I don't even have to go find Michael Kim. I can just filter by the best guys with the most improvement off the tee this week or this year versus 2024. Michael Kim, he's improved across the board apart from the putter. So he's done immaculate stuff with the driver, gaining 0.64 strokes more in 2025 than he did in 2024. He was losing 0.3 in 2024. Now he's gaining 0.35. So a big jump for him off the tee. And he's played a lot, right? I think he's played in a decent amount of golf this year. Obviously, it's been very short-term improvement. I'm not going to have him ranked very high. Am I? Where the hell's this guy? Kiki, Michael Kim. $6,300 in the 60s ranking-wise. Makes sense. Hasn't really done much prior to the Waste Management Phoenix Open finishing second. RSM, he finished 11th. Shriners, he finished 5th. I don't know. I think I prefer Kevin Yu, actually, over Michael Kim. Because Kevin at least has shown you a bit more top 10 ability. He's played very well here in the past. And I think last year in 2024, Michael Kim was like leading after the second round and then had a complete meltdown in round 3 because this is his home tournament and just sucked it up. So, which isn't his best metric, by the way. So I don't know if I like despite having played this golf course probably countless times, we don't really have a great finish here. Now, the driver's working. I wouldn't mind seeing what he can do, but I'd go Kevin Yu over Michael Kim. Can Siwoo win this? Would be wild. I got 30 in best ball. You got 32% of him. You don't even need him to win. You just need him to finish inside the top 10. That's all. That's why we drafted so much of Siwoo, because Siwoo, he's one of the least upside prone options in this field. Like, if we take a look at what Siwoo's situation is, if you just take a look, you can tell by a person's upside ranking, just given his round 1 and round 2 starts. Once he makes the weekend, plays a lot better. But to get there, he's just making the cut all the time, barely, and then progressing up the leaderboard from then on out. If I take a look at what Siwoo's finish rates are, look at this. He finishes inside the top 40 at a 60% clip, but he only finished inside the top 5 like 4% of the time. I think his win at the Sony Open in 2023 or something like that, or was it the Memorial in 2023, was his last top 5 prior to a top 5 he had more recently. The Zozo is his like best finish, but look at this. It's just like there's no upside, in my opinion, on a consistent basis. Maybe he pops and wins randomly. I don't expect it to be this week. So, as always, if I don't like someone that someone asked about, then we're going to find a pivot in that range. So let's go find the $7,100 pivot, and then we're going to start getting out of here. I'm rooting for Rory dominating. Yeah, baby, let's go. Let's go. My rule of not playing Berger back-to-back weeks since coming back from injury is in question this week. I mean, at 182 mile per hour ball speed, I would imagine he's quite healthy. I'm sorry if I missed it. I was multitasking, making dinner. What marker would you look at Dietrich for? And then Keegs as well. All right, we've got some questions we're going to have to answer here. But first, we're going to find the pivot for Siwoo Kim. Andrew Novak, Daniel Berger, Cameron Davis, Wyndham Clark, Max Griesemann. Those would be guys I'd go to instead. I think I like Max Griesemann. Now, the thing with Max Griesemann, if you take a look at this freaking form tracker and we flip the putting upside down, look at this bullshit. We didn't have to look far for him. We've been all over this dude. He was one of the best putters on the PGA Tour, right behind Mackenzie Hughes, Denny McCarthy, hanging in that range. Jason Day. No. When we decide to just hammer Max Griesemann in the top 10 market, he decides to just lose 1 million strokes putting. He's losing 1/4 of a stroke putting right now. I think it's got a lot to do with POA. He has not putted well on POA whatsoever. In fact, let's take a look at the POA courses because the putting has been very bad. Pebble Beach, putted like ass. Farmers Insurance, he gained some strokes putting. Waste Management Phoenix Open, lost strokes, like constantly losing strokes. I think we added Max Griesemann live for a top 10 after he'd lost 1 million strokes putting in the first round. He also improves quite drastically as you go along. Look at how this guy warms his engine up as you go along in the strokes gain for round by round. 55th for first round strokes gain, 40th for round 2 strokes gain, and 14th and 15th. But I'm getting myself disconnected. It's all good. So those are some pivots off of Siwoo. Let's look at Thomas Dietrich. I don't know if I trust him the week after a win. His first win. Does he come out firing? Commentating nerd, I just don't have a market for you. But that's my personal opinion, and obviously that's got me in trouble with Thomas Dietrich in the past because congratulations to him. Did not expect him to do as well as he did. Where's Dietrich? Let's pull up these two guys, Dietrich. And then we're going to do what you want, Keegan. Using the placement tool. Markets for these guys. Keegan Bradley's market. It would probably be a top 10, top 20. We can take a look. I can pull up some numbers here for us. Do we have here? Keegan. Plus 937.5 for Keegan. 900. 140. So there's nothing that's telling us Keegan's going to pay attention to. He's just outside the top 40 with all this stuff. The rankings aren't going to do him any justice. And then Dietrich, I wonder what his odds are. I haven't even looked at him this week. 700 for top 5, 300 for a top 10, 115 for a top 20. None of those tell us anything good. He just hasn't been consistent enough. If you're taking into account last week, maybe he's found some form. But let's take a look at what he's been up to the last little while. I don't think Dietrich's really... Has he been firing? What is his price tag even? $8,000. His long irons are pretty crap, usually. He's got that win at Pebble. Waste Management. He finished 5th at the TOC and then kind of messed around for a little while and then showed up and won. Incredible stuff. He's very, very good in rounds 2. Round 1, not so bad. Sucks on rounds 3 and 4, which is usually when he falls out of the lead. So I don't know. He's not played amazing. He's not played terrible here. A 15th as the best finish. Yeah, I'm out on him. Leave him alone this week. I don't like him. I'd probably go to Keegan instead. But that's not even for DFS. That's for your bets. I don't bet either of them. There we go. If you want to listen to Darbo, he's got you covered. All right, folks. All righty. Hit the like button. Subscribe to Mayo Media. Check out my Patreon link in the Discord below. Use code FGD. Get yourself 20% off your first month over there on the Patreon. All these tools I was using. The Discord's awesome. A lot of the people in the chat are in the Discord, and I've enjoyed hanging out with everybody in there. We've got a great little community that's got some great golf insights. You've got that. You got my dog Dominator, which you can use for your best ball drafts. That's in the link in the description below. It's a different Patreon package, but once I get my full 3-month birthday at Patreon, we can do a full year subscription, and then I'll bundle that shit all together. So I hope you guys have a great night. 2 sites. I appreciate you. We're going to bounce back. I'm not concerned about it. It's been rough, but such is life, you know. I'm a dad. There's bigger, better things to be happy about than losing 25 units in the first 6 weeks of a golf season. But we're going to bounce back. We can have some big swings in the near future. It's going to take a grind to get into the profitability, but it's going to be a fun mountain. I'm ready for the challenge. I'm not backing down. We're going to do the same thing as always. Phil sent me a Twitter message. We're going to get him in the Discord. Yeah. Beautiful stuff, folks. I appreciate every single one of you. Let's have a great week. Make smart decisions. Make your health a little better this week. Love someone a little more than you typically do. And just if you see a random stranger, give them a smile. Make their day. Do that once a day. and the world will be a better place. I love you all. Let's have a great Genesis Invitational out in Torrey, enjoying the best of the best, playing one of the golf courses that really separates the cream from the milk. So let's go. Dave, my brother. Peace, friends. We love you lots. We'll catch you guys next week.